And welcome here to Talk FCB, and welcome back here to the channel, guys, for another video. And what I thought we'd do sort of before the game, very similar to what I did after the Roma game, where it's sort of just a chat video, something to share with you guys, some of my opinions on things that maybe in other videos you wouldn't really get the full idea of what I was trying to say or what I was trying to, give off. So I thought before the game tonight, a lot of people have been saying to me, should we still be happy when we win? Should we still be watching Barcelona with the same enthusiasm? And I think we have to be careful in what we do, because I think when we sit down to watch Barcelona play, of course, we always want them to win. We always want to get behind our team. We should always try and be passionate about watching the club that we all love. But at the same time, when we do win, just like after the Valencia game, if we do get through the game tonight, we should think about it in the same sort of way. If we do get through those games, we have to celebrate it. We have to think this is brilliant. Barcelona winning is very, very good. But at the same time, you have to still consider what has happened this season. We can't just forget what happened in Rome. We can't just forget the ramifications of that, and we have to really still build and look into the future to really make sure that nothing like that can happen at Barcelona again, and making sure everything is in place to make that certain. What we are going to be doing today is talking about Ernesto Valverde in a bit more detail, because a lot of people are saying, was it a mistake? Was it a one-off? Was it just one game against Rome? And we're not really going to specifically tonight be talking about that Roma game. I think we've done enough of that. I think we dissected every area of that game that we possibly could. What I am going to be doing though in this video is just talking about Valverde in terms of his general management style, how his season has been at Barcelona, and whether or not he should be here come the end of the season going forward as the Barcelona coach. Now, a lot of people have said this season that they haven't enjoyed the way that we play, and I actually tweeted something about the way that almost something has gone out of the way we're playing. Almost some kind of fashion about Barcelona right now has gone out of the way that we're playing. It's kind of not like you're watching Barcelona at times, and that is the biggest criticism that I can have of Ernesto Valverde. But that won't be the same for everybody. Not everybody will be in the same boat, because we all have opinions and we all have a different view on what makes football football. Some people will watch the game and they will be very much results orientated. As long as their team wins, as long as they're holding the trophies and at the top of the league at the end of the season, nothing else matters. It doesn't matter if they grind out 1-0 or they're sitting against it and sitting back and hitting them on the break. They don't mind as long as their team is winning, and that's absolutely fine. There's no way I'm going to come here and say that's wrong. That's not how you should be doing things, because you've all got your opinions, you've all got your sort of how success is judged, and you'll all base your ideas off that. There will, though, be other people, maybe a bit more like myself, who are performance orientated in some ways, that they want to see their team playing well. They want to see a clear idea of how a team is playing, and they want that team then to all have a sort of legacy, a philosophy, an idea, and a clear plan. Every single game you go into, you can see it happening on the pitch. You can see that good performance, and you come away at the end of every game, not just at the end of the season, thinking, that was fantastic, that was brilliant to watch. I want to sit myself down every time they're on TV, and I want to take it in and watch it and be absolutely your breath taken away by it. There's some people, of course, who will look at the game like that. And like I say, everybody has opinions on what they prefer. Some will agree, some won't, but no opinion here is gospel. Don't come here and think everything that I'm saying you need to go and then, take on board. You form your own opinions on what you like to see, what you like to watch, how you judge success. But at the end of the day, if it was me, for instance, I would recognise that, say, football is a results business. At the end of the day, everything is based on results. If you don't get the results at the end of the day, things aren't going to go well for you. So personally, if it was me, I would have preferred us to still win the league. Of course, you still want to be winning the trophies, you still want to be at the top of the league. But I would have preferred this season for us to mostly play entertaining football on the front foot, taking some risks, but maybe picking up a few losses along the way due to that kind of style, instead of maybe playing very few really entertaining games this season, most of them conservative, concentrating on keeping that unbeaten run going, but at the end of the season, going unbeaten. So I'd rather maybe play entertaining, take some risks, pick up a few losses, but win the league and be entertaining, as opposed to being conservative, going unbeaten all season long, and then winning the league. But like I say, that is simply opinion from me. But if we're facing facts this season, you have to say this season has mostly been about those results and not about performances. How many games really now, thinking about it when you're sitting down watching this, how many games can you look back on from this season and think, that was fantastic. That was a game that I'll remember forever. That was a great memory. That was a great performance. There was some fantastic goals. There was brilliant passages of play. They're just, for me, there hasn't been enough games like that. There's not been enough Barcelona games that you can look back on and think, that was really fantastic. And sadly, that's what Barcelona is all about. That is the club that we fell in love with. Playing that certain way, games that stay with you, defining moments. And it's just, the thing is about this season is, and under Valverde, Barcelona for me, and this for me is the biggest criticism, Barcelona look like any other team. They do not look like a unique team with a unique style of play, a unique philosophy. There is no difference to me between Barcelona and any other top club in Europe right now, simply because we try to win games, we try to get the results, and then we stick with it. There's no expansive style of play. There's nothing there that is unique to Barcelona, as it has been for so many years. We have been the club who have been setting the benchmarks, who have really been setting the pace and doing things that you've never seen before, whether it's Pep Guardiola and the style of play that he implemented, whether it's Luis Enrique and the formidable front three that we assembled, playing a unique brand of football that you've never seen before. We haven't seen that this season. It's just like any other team. And then I would move on to something Valverde said in a press conference just after the Valencia game when he was speaking about winning that game. And a lot of you might not have seen this quote, but when I read it, I was absolutely stunned and I couldn't believe what I just read. Valverde came out and said these exact words. I have not lied about this. These are not fabricated quotes. This is what Valverde actually said. He was asked about the win against Valencia and he replied with, I was thinking about this match before we played Roma. Winning against Valencia is very, very important to us. I could not believe the manager of Barcelona would be talking about playing Valencia, beating Valencia, and saying then that he was thinking about that game before he played Roma. The guy who all season long has took things one game at a time, always thinking only about the next game, but when it comes to that Champions League quarter-final, the huge humiliation that ensued, and then we find out that he was actually thinking about Valencia the whole time. It's a very big quote, and I think it actually tells us a lot about the mentality here of Ernesto Valverde. Has he prioritised that league title, maybe even that unbeaten run over the Champions League? And did he ever genuinely believe that we could win the Champions League? Because judging by that quote, he has placed all his eggs in one basket. All he wanted to do there was make sure they won the league, and it wasn't even as if it was a colossal game against Valencia. Obviously, we wanted to win it, but we were well clear in the league anyway. It wasn't really a must-win game. I just didn't understand what Valverde was coming out with there. And not only that, in terms of thinking about Valencia, it is also a severe lack of judgment on Valverde's part not to be thinking about that Roma game first and foremost. It's absolutely clear that in Rome, we well and truly took our eye off the ball. Valverde, the players, nobody was ready for that game, and nobody was about to see what was coming. But even reports in Spain say that sporting director Robert Fernandez was actually sent to England before that quarter-final match to scout Liverpool and Man City to see who we would be facing in the semi-finals. And that was before we were even through on the night. So again, severe lack of judgment, severe lack of planning. There is not enough there that suggests to me that Valverde's mind was on the Champions League. Did he ever believe we could win it, or has he always had it in his mind, I just want to win the league, I want to go unbeaten, and that will be enough for me? Because that quote there is not a good thing for Valverde. And then there's the matter of this Celta game coming this evening, where Valverde has finally decided to rotate because of that upcoming Copa del Rey final this Saturday. And then you've got to ask the question, simply what kind of morals of a coach who rotates for the cup final away at Celta Vigo, but not for a Champions League quarter-final when we are playing at home to Leganes just a few days before. No rotations barely against Leganes, but away to Celta Vigo ahead of the cup final, suddenly now we're going to see a lot of changes. I just can't get my head around that, because it all comes back to me maybe with Valverde for having this mid-table club mentality. The cup in Athletic, for Athletic Club, it is a huge deal. The Copa del Rey, they won the Super Cup against us, and the entire city was flooded with celebrations. They couldn't believe it. They got their hands on the trophy, and rightly so. But at Barcelona, as the Barcelona coach, you have to understand that your season is going to be measured on the Champions League success, how you go through, if you win it, if you go out, how are you going to go out? That was the big question against Roma. It was the way that we went out, and especially when you see, just across the country in Madrid, what they're doing in the Champions League. You see that this season they could win it for a third successive year simply because of our failures. and us not stopping them doing that. And then comes this unbeaten record, which, don't get me wrong, is an absolutely sensational record. We now hold the all-time record for the longest unbeaten streak in the Spanish top flight. But has Valverde really overworked our key players? Suarez, Messi, Umtiti, Gerard Piqué, Sergio Busquets, Andres Iniesta. Has he really overworked all of those players in the league, not giving them rest, seeing us knocked out of the Champions League, just simply to hold this record? Because after we've got it now, we're suddenly seeing rotation. Now we are the official holders of that record. The very next game against Celta Vigo, away from home, a tough game, and now we're seeing rotation. On the record itself, it is a fantastic record. It really, really is. But before us, did you even know that Sociedad held this record? Did you even know, really, this record existed? No. Will it be mentioned many times in the future when Real Madrid are talking about potentially their third successive Champions League crown? Will we be mentioning this record then? Probably not. And that's what it comes down to. I think overall, it all just comes back to Valverde's inexperience at the very, very top level of football. And that is a simple fact. This is a coach who does not have big experience in Champions League nights. He doesn't have experience in managing world-class players and big egos in the dressing room. He just doesn't. It's not a fault of his own. He's not had this chance before, but he just doesn't have that kind of experience. And please don't get me wrong, guys. If he does leave at the end of the season and he says, you know what, enough is enough, I tried my best, but it just hasn't worked out, I'll be the very first person to congratulate him on what has been, overall, a very impressive season. Results-wise, he's done very, very well. He will likely finish the season with a double, with the cup, with the league title. Potentially, we could go unbeaten, although that's going to be very, very difficult with these rotations in mind. But that itself deserves praise, and very big praise at that, and I'll be the first to say for Valverde, you've done well. But at the same time, it's not just about those results. It's not just about those titles. You can't just say, well, Valverde has won the cup, he's won the league, he's done enough to stay. It was about that humiliation against Rome. It was about what we've seen all season long, this cautious approach, this mentality of Valverde. Is he set out to be the Barcelona coach? I'm honestly not sure. I don't know if it truly fits. And like I say, this isn't an attack on Valverde. At the end of Luis Enrique's time, he himself said, enough is enough. I've gone as far as I can go. I can't do any more. He walked away. Tata Martino was 2 goals away from winning the league and the cup. He walked away. You know, you look at Pep Guardiola after 4 years here too. He couldn't take it anymore. It's not a massive criticism to leave this job, but at times it can be too big. And I think for Ernesto Valverde coming into this job, he doesn't have the huge experience that maybe we need at a club like this. And even as a Barcelona player, he played here as a player, but very, very much a bit part role. Even he as a player didn't really experience those big nights for Barcelona as a player. So I think this season, rather than go through another season of going through the motions, not really entertaining, cautious style of play, when we really don't know how long the likes of Messi are going to be here. This could be Iniesta's last season and he's going out like this. I just don't want to see that. I don't want to see us wasting Lionel Messi's last years at the club anymore. We need to get it right. We need to get it right now. And does that mean the end for Ernesto Valverde? It's been a good season. He's had good results. He will leave with titles. But is he the man to take Barcelona forward? As seasons goes on, coaches' influence goes down. It doesn't go up. You don't gain more influence as the years go on. If anything, this will be the year where the players are really on board with his ideas. As the years go on, it's more difficult and more difficult to keep them on board. Do we want another season of what we've seen this year? Will we make the same mistakes all over again? That remains to be seen. And that, guys, is up to you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below on the Valverde debate. There are many different sides. Like I say, this is simply a matter of opinion. There's not a right one. There's not a wrong one. Everybody is entitled to your own. So let me know your thoughts down below, guys. I will see you later on for the Celta Vigo game. Hopefully we can get a win. Hopefully we can see some of these players given an opportunity. And hopefully they take it. I'll see you then, guys. But until then, as always, Vesca El Barça.